everyone, it's Cat Conrad. It's like it knows.
The train knows. It's the chi train.
The wise old train. The
it's
wise
the
chi train.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right. Hi.
Hi.
Hi everyone, this is Cat Conrad. I'm here with my friend Rehmannia Dean Thomas of Shaman Shack Herbs. Yeah. And we're here in Upland, California, just outside of LA. Mm-hmm. And I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma originally, and Rehmannia is going to be taking a cross-country tour in just a few days, and he's going to be coming through a town just outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma in Broken Arrow. So I just wanted to come and chat with you a little bit and share a video with the people that I know and some others in that area, just to let them know who is this guy that's coming through with his herbs and what's he all about. So if you could tell a little bit about yourself and what your work. Yeah. So.
Great, Kat. Hi. Thanks.
Hi.
I am coming through, taking a tour, bringing an ancient brand of tradition of herbology that I'm going to have with me, all my herbs, and I'll tell everybody about that as we go on here. Yeah. But I'm going to be going through Santa Fe, Tulsa, Kansas City, Louisville, Kentucky, where I'm from, a lot of work there, up to D.C., North Carolina, and so for the month of June, pretty much, month of June. And you know, as we talk about this, if you get interested in what I'm saying, I would, if you're on my route or close to it, I would come to your place if you think maybe 20, 30 people would show up. I'd come to a hall or even to your home, bring my herbs. So as you watch this, as people watch this, it'd be great to bear that in mind. I would come. I'm a people person. I'm a Libra. So, and I'm flexible. I'm always flexible. But I'm a tonic herbalist. That's my lineage. It's a 5,000-year-old lineage of herbology from primarily China, northern China, Manchuria, which incorporates Korea's now, a little bit Japan. And we focus on what's called tonic herbs, right? So I don't know if people have heard the term tonic herb.
They don't know that,
a tonic herb is, it's a translation of a Chinese symbol that just means it has a broad spectrum, almost like a superfood. They could be considered a class of superfoods. Tonic herbs maintain their exalted status as tonic herbs. In all of Chinese herbology, of thousands of herbs used, these about 50 herbs really only are tonic herbs. And they attain that exalted status because they are known to have a broad spectrum benefit on the body when taken daily, the way you would take your minerals or vitamins,
Yeah, and they're safe, right?
Yes, and one of their other criteria is they have to be found to be completely safe for regular, consumption, daily consumption. And they just build us up and help us adapt, emotionally, physically, spiritually, help us maintain stronger immune systems, help us make sure we're getting our kidneys and adrenals replenished, supporting general metabolism, but in a more broad spectrum way, we call non-specific. And that's the criteria of a tonic herb. So the Chinese, over thousands of years, they looked at all the various herbs they studied, and they found these particularly to be in this class of superfoods, and that's the group of herbs that we work with in my lineage. My lineage is called the Gate of Life, and I was taught this by my master, Ron Teagard, and he was taught by a master from the northern Asia there. And so we are among a very small handful of people who are bringing out an incredibly profound philosophy around the use of tonic herbs, which is, I guess we'll talk about it a little bit here. It's called the Three Treasures, and we'll get into that. But I'm going to be coming across the country talking about the Three Treasures and tonic herbs. I will have my herbs with me. I'll make herb formulas specific for them. I'll do consultations with everyone who's there, do a specific formula, and then you will have a tonic herbal elixir to drink. Yeah. So I guess go ahead and talk a little bit about the Three Treasures.
Or you mentioned like adaptogenic qualities of that. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that and what that means?
Sure. A tonic herb is said to have adaptogenic properties. So modern research, when they looked at the chemistry, the phytochemistry of these herbs, they found that they had oftentimes numerous sets of RNA and DNA. Sometimes it represented both what we call the sympathetic and the parasympathetic stuff that nurtures both branches of our nervous system within the one plant. And when they saw that, particularly Tibetan rhodiola, actually rhodiola or rosea from Siberia was what they were studying, and they found that it had this chemistry that helped us adapt. Because the thing is, the plant itself, you see, comes from this really hostile environment, like way up high where almost nothing grows, and there's ice and rain and dry and just intense. And this plant's got to stand there and wither all this, withstand all this. So it develops this self-protective phytochemistry to help it deal with dry, and then later deal with wet, and deal with nutrient-devoid soil, and then stuff, and viruses and parasites and everything else. And so this plant becomes a very complex plant if you look at it. And so the nutrients that are in this plant, we're talking about herbs now, and this is kind of in general. The various phytochemicals or nutrients that are in constituents of herbs are oftentimes they have really big words, right? Like if you were to see some of the phytochemistry of aloe vera, it'd freak you out. You think you're looking at some bizarre, like weird, petrochemical or something. But it's like a 10-syllable word, but it's one of the constituents in aloe vera. And so herbs get that way. They get complex. And then when we take them into our body, they work in deeper, more complex ways to act as nervines or adaptogens or immune regulating or that kind of thing. And so this makes it different from food. Now, I work a lot in the raw food community. So in Broken Arrow, I'm going to be talking with the raw food group, right?
At Raw Intentions Kitchen, Denise Madeja's kitchen there, and the raw food, some of the raw food community. So I'm going to post this on the Raw Food Tulsa Meetup group. So
there, I've really gotten into working with the raw food movement on using tonic elixir teas, Now, when I say the raw food movement, there's a burgeoning movement going on that we know about in America where people are creating cuisine without cooking anything. So, you can still have your hamburgers and everything, pasta, but it's like all fresh, uncooked, and incredibly tasty stuff. It's excellent for, your daily nutritional needs are better met when you don't cook the heck out of the food and kill all of its life properties, and it's what we call enzymes are in the food. So the raw food diet is high in energy that we, in my lineage, in the Gate of Life lineage, we call chi. So enzymes are chi, and mineral ionic minerals and all that stuff is all holding chi. But then when we take this into the body, a process goes on here in our stomach where we break this down. We break down this roughage of this bundle that's holding chi in it, holding the enzyme, and then we transform that into a bioavailable, in metabolic and into the cells, and the cells, the blood carries that chi energy that gives us life. And we get this chi from, consumption. Breathing air, we call gathering chi, prana, and then what we eat, the nutritive chi. That process of breaking all that down can be aided by the use of herbs. So that's what I'm going around talking about right now, so I'll get into that in a little bit as we go here. But the raw food thing is great because, we're getting this life force we call chi, the enzymes. That fuels our metabolism, So people who eat a properly, constructed raw food diet, researching your fats, your carbohydrate, other fats are carbohydrates, but researching fats and sugars and starches and proteins. Your climate, your stress level, what's the weather like where you live? How active are you? What's your job like? Are you sitting all day? All these things, you need to take these into account and do your research, find out what works for you, and create a diet around that contains a lot of living food. Then my work comes in. Herbal elixirs of tonic herbs can support chi and the spleen. The spleen and the pancreas are the governors of chi. See, so your stomach is like a pot of tea. What you eat and drink goes into the stomach, and then underneath, the burner on the stovetop is the spleen and the pancreas. They govern the pancreatic enzymes and the general warmth and the breaking down. The spleen's involved with the blood and fortifying the blood, the white blood and red, from chi that's derived from that. The process of this breaking down of food. And so we want this crucible to be warm,